Welcome to another episode and a very special episode of Talking with Kevin and Son. And today we are honoring, I don't even know how many people we have on here, but there's a lot of people that are literary geniuses that's being showcased by a group created by Gina Gaston and her partner, which I'll let Gina talk about, the Distinguished Author Award. But this is a very rare occasion, and it's the first time any podcast has ever created an award ceremony and recognizing. And this is the first time that we are recognizing all of the finalists. November 11th, one of them will be awarded the Distinguished Author Guild. And so what I like to do is right now is to let you know that this episode of Talking with Kevin and Son, the special episode, and People You Should Know, is brought to you by RMK Productions, a division of 10 United Podcast Network. And through the power of story, our mission is to uplift, inspire, share stories and experiences and perspectives using the framework of teaching, learning, and modeling. Our purpose is hope, helping other people every day. And what I like to do right now is bring on and introduce Miss Gina Gaston. Welcome, Gina. How are you?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you so much. I am doing well. I appreciate it. It's definitely an honor and a pleasure to be part of this. And I just want to say that all the authors have done such a wonderful job. We are nearing the final results of Distinguished Authors Guild. And before I go on, I just want to explain what DAG is. DAG, short for Distinguished Authors Guild. This is something that myself and my partner, E.A. Rhodes, we came together and we wanted to do something special, but something different, where we honor authors for the hard work that they put into their books, especially being independent authors. Sometimes we don't get the recognition that we deserve. We work very hard. We put a lot of hours, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the books that we produce. And we wanted to showcase those authors and give them a day where they are celebrated for the hard work that they do. So this has nothing to do with Gina Gaston or D.A. Rhodes. This has everything to do with these wonderful creative authors that have published these books. This is our second year for Distinguished Authors Guild. Our first year was 2021. This year, 2022, we are really pushing to increase and enhance the scholarships that we give. So along with celebrating the authors, proceeds from the tickets goes towards the scholarships for freshman students in college that are in the literary field. So journalism, creative writing. And so we honor them by offering scholarships to help them and to get more authors out there like these guys here on the panel. So that's our main goal. But I just want to say that when we put this together, it was just really to focus on all of these authors across the country. These guys are from everywhere: Florida, Texas, Georgia, Indiana, Illinois. So this is an opportunity for them to come together from everywhere. Initially, we were slated to have this as an event at the DeSable Museum, which is in Chicago, Illinois. And COVID hit. And so we came together, D.A. Rhodes and myself, and we decided to make it a virtual event so that we could continue to move forward with this project. And so we decided to do it virtually. And I think that having it virtual has been a big success because we were able to reach more people and go further than just Illinois, Indiana, and the surrounding area. So it was a godsend. This was something that God opened the door and put us in this direction. And so as we grow and grow, I just want to thank all of the authors from past, present, and future for the hard work that they've done. Some I've met personally, others I have not, but I have been communicating with you guys, and it's just been a positive experience. Now, there are this year 12 categories. There's usually 10, but we had so much great feedback from the readers and the books that they read. We had to open up 2 more categories because there was just so many good books. And so this year we have 12 categories, and we have 3 nominees for each category. And out of each category, out of those nominees, there will be 1 book chosen as the award-winning book. So we will have 12 award-winning authors.
So,
and I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. So Gina, can you tell for our listeners and for those authors that have missed this opportunity or hadn't heard about this, which they will, and they'll prepare for next year, what are the requirements for each of the categories for submission to this point right now? What are the criteria?
Well, the criteria is 1, the book has to be 350 pages or less. It was also based on the packaging. Does the cover draw the reader to the book? I mean, that's the first impression, is that cover. And so does that cover draw you to the book? The other category criteria was content. Did the content captivate the reader and hold their attention? So again, first impression, if they get into that book in the first few paragraphs, if it doesn't grab their attention, then that's not going to be an award-winning book. So that was definitely a criteria that we looked for. The other thing was creativity. I mean, there are millions of books out there. What makes your book different from the rest? Would the reader recommend your book to someone else? So those are the things that we based the award-winning books on. And the biggest and most seemed like the one thing that people would understand, free of errors. The book had to be free of error. Would you want to pick up a book that's award-winning and you are constantly seeing errors throughout the book? That's professionalism.
Well, believe it or not, I went to public high school. There were plenty of those books. That's what happens when you get a government education, but that's okay. I did well. So Gina, before we start to announce each of the finalists, I'm going to let you do this because you have a closer relationship with them. I'm going to ask each of them a couple of questions. Let us know what category their books are in. And you can slate their full name. And, once they're up there, just remember, there are people driving by. There are people that's sitting, right now or watching at the computer, wishing that, they had written a book or trying to figure out how did all you guys write a book. And I will tell you, every book starts the same way. It starts from page 1 to the last page, the first word to the last word. And it all starts with something you think that you have to say that will make a difference in someone's life. That's what being an author is all about. We're not writing books in order to become millionaires. That is a nice idea. And one of us will probably end up watching someone else's movie. But the whole purpose of everyone writing, and I think we all agree, is to make a difference. We all have a story to tell. So Gina, without any further ado, I'm going to turn my podcast over to you and allow you to go ahead and introduce the first finalist, her genre of her book. And if you have any backstory on your end as to what made this book special, please go ahead and, slate that so someone else would know going into it how to do it. And then the author would know why they've got picked, Gina, it's all yours. You are now the co-host of Talking with Kevin and Son.
Thank you, Kevin. Well, I'm going to tell you that the books were just awesome. So the first nominee I'm going to go right over to my right, Dr. Grace Burke. Now, I just want to say that Dr. Burke entered her book, well, another book, one of her books last year in the 2020 DAG Award. And so this year, she's entering her newest book, and it's called December as Pleasant as May. And this book was chosen because it met the criteria. It kept the reader's attention. It had a beautiful cover, and it told a story. It was something that they would recommend to someone else. So Dr. Burke, quickly and as short as you can, just tell us a backstory of December as Pleasant as May.
Yes, thank you, Gina, and I'm so glad to be here. December's as Pleasant as May. This book is a charming, I believe, an inspiring collection of essays. I said 50 or thereabout because actually they're 54, but 50 sounded a little bit more jazzy. So I said 50 or thereabout. And they're both personal as well as formal essays. It gives you a glimpse into a time past. I'm 78 years old. I don't mind telling my age. And the Lord gave me the opportunity to write after I had retired after 45 years as a nurse midwife. And since then, I've written 6 books. And this is my 6th. It just seems like he keeps inspiring me. And I'm so grateful. So I go all the way back to my childhood, back in Harlem, New York, where I was born and raised. And so the start off of the essays start when I was a little girl on my way to PS 68 in New York City. And then I take you throughout various portions of my life. Now, the title, December's as Pleasant as May, comes from an ancient hymn, but James Cleveland in the 1970s upgraded it, and he used a line from that very song, and so he called it December's as Pleasant as May. December for me was actually May was the springtime of my life. I was actually born in April, but May came next. And so I went through the summer of my life, the fall of my life, and I believe now at age 78, I'm in my winter season.
We have a few more minutes, Dr. Burke.
Okay. And so I think the book will keep the reader riveted and totally engaged. It doesn't stay in Harlem. It takes you to various stages of my life, even up until the present time. And I believe...
Well, I do want to add, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I do want to add that the category for Dr. Burke's book is inspiration. And I can tell you that this book definitely has inspiration behind it. Thank you so much, Dr. Burke. It's definitely a pleasure having you as a nominee.
Yeah.
Next nominee.
Just 1 second. Dr. Burke, where can we get your book at?
It's available either on my website, www.graceburkebooks.com, or on Amazon.com.
All right. All right, Gina, go ahead.
Our next nominee is Stacey Adams, and the name of her book is Hurt But Not Harmed. And Stacey, just take a few minutes to tell us about your backstory.
Hi, yes, I'm Stacey Adams. I'm excited to be here. Hurt But Not Harmed was a 20-year journey for me, not because it was as thick as War and Peace, but because I was walking out the journey of going from hurt and being not harmed. It is a work of fiction, lightly based on the life story of my grandmother, but I think it's a story, and I know it's a story that a lot of people can relate to. Many times in our families, we have had generational hurts. We've gone through abuse. There's been addictions, there's been adultery, there's all sorts of things in this storyline that can connect with us. And what tends to happen is we end up holding unspoken truths. And when we hold these truths, we end up living our lives through these secrets. We end up raising our children through these secrets. And before you know it, eventually it comes to a head. And this is what you find in the story of Hurt But Not Harmed. Our main character's name is Ruthie Boyd, and she has a flashback of her life coming unfolded right before her very eyes, something that's been very dear to her heart that she was trying to shield her family from. She thought it was doing the right thing because she was trying to hold back a hurt from them, but it ended up causing more harm in the end. And so we go through her life's journey, finding out how this secret is unfolded in a way that she didn't want it to be. But we find out in the end what is the end result of actually walking through the journey of being hurt but not harmed. You can find my book, Hurt But Not Harmed, on Amazon.com. And I've also been fortunate enough to been picked up with extended distribution on Walmart.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Goodreads, and you can also Google the book and find it there on Google Books. And so I'm just excited for this opportunity to be a part of the DAG Award this year. And I am so honored to be along with all these wonderful nominees on today.
And
Awesome.
I'm going to ask you one more question before. I'm probably going to do this to everyone. You have a beautiful cover for your book. All right. Was that selected by you? How did you come up with that cover?
It was my idea. I tinkered with it for a while. I was trying to find a concept that showed the beauty through pain. And I said, well, what about a bouquet of roses as it slowly withers away? And then there's one that one little rose that represents this one secret that kind of can ruin the whole bunch, the whole bundle of beautiful roses. And as I was talking with my publisher, we just kind of came with that idea. I literally just sketched out a couple of thoughts I had on paper. And before I knew it, I presented them to her. And this is what we came up with. So I'm just really pleased with the cover as well.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. And as you see, this is the reason that we had so many different categories under memoir. This book Hurt But Not Harmed, falls under the title of Memoir Confessionals. And so this is the category that Stacey's book will be competing in. Thank you so much. And just hearing just the backstory lets you know why the book was nominated.
All right.
So our next nominee is Dani Smith Mathis. And Dani is a co-author of the book Shut 'Em Down. So there's 19 other authors that joined her in this book. And I'm going to let her talk about this.
Evening, everyone. And I want to congratulate all of the finalists. My name is Dani Smith Mathis, and I am one of 20 co-authors representing Shut 'Em Down, Black Women, Racism in Corporate America. And this is the battle cry of Black women who have suffered abuse and trauma at the hands of corporate America. And so we have written our stories for the very first time. This is the first time an anthology of its kind has ever dared to portray and have in writing the voices of these women, including myself. And it has been presented by Dr. Carrie Yazid, and I am just very thankful to represent the 20 authors. My name of my chapter actually is called Get the Language Right, taken from a speech that is not so well known by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I am honored to be part of the Distinguished Authors Guild finalist selection. Thank you very much.
And we are honored to have you. For those of you that are driving and those of you that are tuning in on the YouTube page, if you look at the cover of her book, it shows an imprint of an American flag and the impression of a human being. I can't tell male or female, but I will tell you the book cover is just stunning. And I'm not for sure that what category you're in. I hope that I'm not competing with you because I just, I've got to bow down to you. Anyway, it is beautiful. You did a good job.
Well, thank you. And thank you to Dr. Yazid and the other 19, my sisters in writing. And that is a woman with a big Angela Davis-like afro on the cover.
And the category for Shut 'Em Down is memoir personal. So yeah, you are competing with her, Kevin. But we'll see on the 11th. We'll see.
Well, just remember, I'm the host of the podcast. All right, let's go. Let's see who's up next. All these wonderful, beautiful people, beautifully talented and people creating content. I'm excited to do a first award show on a podcast. This is a first. All right.
I agree with you on that, Kevin. These are beautiful authors. They have such an amazing story to tell, all different kind of genres. And it's just amazing. I'm proud to be a part of all of their stories. Our next nominee is Jazra Bradley. Now, Jazra was also an author in the 2020 DAG Award, and she won first place with her book last year. So Jazra has entered her second writing.
That's all right.
For this year, and it's romance. Her book is under romance, and the name of it is My Love Won't Last Forever, His Wife. So talk about that.
Hi, my name is Jazra Bradley. I am from Gering, Indiana. I am a science teacher, a massage therapist, and a publisher, and I love to write. Writing is my passion. So I know you guys remember in 2020 when the buzzword was entanglement with Jada Pinkett Smith and her husband. Well, this is the original entanglement. You got Nairi and Malachi and Ivan. So Nairi and Malachi are a couple that has been in my series. This is the third book in the series, but you won't be lost if you didn't read book 1 and book 2, because I don't believe in making you have to do all that work. I do the work for you. Anyways, they're at a point where they've been on and off. They're divorced. Malachi wants to get back with Nairi. Nairi's contemplating it. And then here comes Ivan. And sometimes you think the grass is greener on the other side, but Ivan comes with a motive. Like, he's handsome. He's everything that Malachi isn't. Not to say that Malachi isn't handsome, but he sells her this dream. Only for her to find out that Ivan is trying to literally tear her family up. And so when she realizes that her family is in chaos, she could go and have fun, or she could be a responsible adult and keep her family together. And so this is the dilemma, the entanglement that you find in My Love Won't Last Forever, His Wife. And I have that his wife there for a purpose, because when Ivan meets her, he has a motive as well. So it's not just that he sees this lovely lady and he wants to fall in love. His motive is not pure. And so I'll leave it at that. It is available on Amazon, and it's also available at my website, tranquilbliss.net.
I'm going to ask you to repeat, how do we get access to your book again? Because your internet, one upstaged you. So let's do that again.
I apologize. It is available at Amazon.com, and it is also available on my website, www.tranquilbliss.net.
All right. Sounds like it should be made for a TV movie, Netflix. I want to attach the other things that come along with movies like that.
Well, I can say the book last year, the first copy, woof, that was a cannot put down book.
Thank you.
I just had to say. Now we have Radiant Montgomery, and Radiant, I just love your name. That is a name that should go on a book. Seriously.
Thank you so much.
And the name of Radiant's book is Issues of the Womb. And this book falls under the category of memoir transformation. Okay. So let's talk about this book, Radiant.
But thank you so much for having us on. I'm so excited just to be a part of this and to be, with so many amazing writers. Issues of the womb are the issues that we all have just by coming from our mothers and our fathers. A lot of times there are so many things that our parents faced, and they never, the things that a lot of us have brought up about putting under the carpet and sweeping under the rug, I should say, and the secrets, those things that they went through before they even had you. And just by virtue of being in vitro, if your parents were never healed from those issues, you can collect those issues. And the way that the story is told is I begin this journey of being a part of what will become a book, where I was just put on the journey with several different women and their families who were trying to conceive and were struggling with infertility. And this was not something that I had ever struggled with, but I noticed that as I walked through life, God was placing me with these individuals, and I began to see what was going on in the background. And so, although this is not just for families who struggle with infertilities, it's definitely for them and to encourage. It is just for any of us that have dealt with issues, that we may have just through conception have gotten. And because of that, because there is no healing and we haven't dealt with it, we are not able to bring forth or reach purpose until we get that healing. And so this book is not so much about having the answer to that, but really talking about and getting those conversations as I share these stories of families and their struggle with infertility, and talk about the things that surface, not just in the physical and the natural struggle, but the spiritual realm and the things that they may have faced. And I believe that it is an attack on our families to keep us from reproducing, but also just an attack on us individually to keep us from reaching purpose. So just by talking about these issues and facing them and choosing making a decision to get healed from it instead of allowing the cycles to continue, I believe that we all have we possess, the authority to be able to be healed so that our children don't have to get the things that we, came into the world with. And so that's what Issues of the Womb is. And it can be purchased on Passion. My website is passionfortransformation.org. I am also a professional life coach. My husband and I team together and we coach. And so our website where the book can be purchased is passionfortransformation.org. And that's the number 4, as well as Amazon.
Awesome. Wow, you guys, do you see why these books have such an impact? They really do. Thank you, Radiant. Our next nominee is Nikita. Nikita's book is, the name of her book is Time Did Tell, and her book is under the category of fiction. Tell us about Time.
Okay, this is my first novel, and I just started with an idea that I had probably like 2 years prior. So it took a long time to come out. And this is Time to Tell. So this book is about Kayla, 17-year-old Kayla. She's very overprotected by her mother. She's not allowed to do anything. She can't date, she can't drive, she can't do anything. Her mom's a principal of her school, so she can keep an eye on her. And she lives in a little small town in Ohio. And an opportunity comes for her to get to California, which is super exciting for her. And it turns out that her parents are from California. They never talked about their experiences there, growing up there, or anything like that. And so she's really excited about it. When they get there, they stay at her mom's old house, her grandmother's house. She finds her mom's diary. The diary ends up being from when her mom was 17 years old. So the story then starts to unfold. So now the story is a parallel story between Kayla growing up and just kind of opening up and having new experiences and reading about her mom doing the same exact thing. And then a big family secret is revealed while she's reading the diary. So then she finally comes to understand why her mom is so overprotective over her. And, I wanted to write a story that is for women and about women. So each woman in this story has their own secret/issue and these are things that women usually deal with. Like, it's very common for women, but they keep it a secret and they sweep it under the rug and just keep pushing forward, especially Black women. We're just taught to be strong and keep it under the rug and move forward. And you teach that to the next generation. So this book is about putting that aside and getting the feelings out and opening up. And when you open up, you can come together. So that's what happens in this story. And I'm very excited about it. I'm really excited about being chosen for DAG. And my experience with Gina and DAG this whole time has been super positive and very great. I almost don't want it to end. So I'm very excited about it. But you can find Time to Tell on Amazon, Nook, and Apple Books.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm telling you, if you guys have not read any of these books, you need to pick up a few copies of them and read them, because you don't want to put them down. You just don't want to put them down.
And I want to say something to our listeners. I know you hear a lot of female voices in this room. Believe it or not, we've got a brother here that can write too. So I want you to stay tuned, because you're going to hear the baritone coming up somewhere down the line. Just don't leave. But I will tell you, I know the way Dr. King felt when he looked out at the sea of people that looked like him, and he said his most famous speech, "I have a dream." Believe it or not, this is his dream coming true. To have a platform that we have a voice, to have a platform where we tell a story, to have a platform where we can be present as a people, present as creators, and then to have a platform that was created by someone that looks just like us, Miss Gina Gaston. And I'll try not to interrupt, but I am so excited and so happy to be here. And
no worries at all.
All right, go ahead.
Well, our next nominee, Miss Paula Carl. And Paula's category is children ages 4 to 7 years old. And the name of Paula's book is The Adventures of Ellie and Eve. Ellie meets a new baby. So the title probably gave it away, but go ahead, Paula.
Hi, thank you. My name is Paula M. Carl, and I am a special educator. I am the children's author for The Adventures of Ellie and Eve, Ellie Meets the New Baby. This is my book cover here. So my book, it's important for parents to communicate with their children, their older children, to help them adapt to a new sibling, to adjust to a new sibling. It can be struggles there with the new sibling, if they were a sibling for a while. So the purpose of my book is to make sure that parents communicate with their children. It is important that parents nurture their older children as well as they taking care of the younger children. In the book, Ellie Meets the New Baby, Ellie struggles with embracing her new sister. Mom and dad communicates with her. I also use and incorporate a multicultural family, which is on the book, and it is a depiction of my family. So I just wanted readers to be able to connect with the images of the people that's in the story, to relate to them. They have very similar stories, but just make sure that the readers can connect with them. I also incorporated discussion questions at the end of the book, so parents can have time to share learning activities with the with the child, and also to communicate with critical thinking skill, building problem-solving skills, all of those things that are important when a child is having a new sibling. And my mission is building a diverse library. And when I say building a diverse library, I mean also I have this book in an audiobook format, in an ebook format, and back format. So as a special education teacher, it is important that kids and children that have difficult reading can access learning through Audible. And the book is also available on my website, Paula M. Carl, that's Karll, PaulaMCarl.com. Also on Amazon, you can find it on Barnes & Noble, online, Target, and Walmart. I am truly, truly grateful for this opportunity to be recognized with the DAG Award, and I am so honored to be here with everyone. Thank you.
And
I was just getting ready to ask you if you did not mind holding that book up again. You guys can see why the cover is just eye-catching.
And I want to add a little something to that, because when I first looked at your backdrop of it and saw the cover of the book, you know, my biggest question was, you know, the person that illustrated, was there a change until you said it was actually a diverse cover? And one of the things that, you know, RMK Productions, that we try to educate is to get rid of our biases, because we have to realize in the next 15 to 20 years, 80% of the children born in the United States will be multicultural or multiracial. And we have to have these conversations, and we have to find out, instead of from the head, we need to start loving everyone from the heart. Yes. And so I am glad that you tackled that subject. I'm going to encourage people to read your book, all of our books, matter of fact, I'm going to encourage, but I want to say thank you for just being present. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I had the pleasure of meeting Paula at the author's brunch. So she's a beautiful, beautiful person. So it was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Our next nominees is beautiful Michelle, the computer lady, Michelle Cox, but she's known as Michelle, the computer lady. And the name of her book is Mommy, What is an Entrepreneur? And her book is in the category of children ages 8 to 12. So tell us, computer lady, tell us about your book.
Gina, it's always a pleasure to be here. My book is about a mommy teaching her daughter about entrepreneurship and how not only is she an entrepreneur already and about their family business, but it also speaks to the life of Madam C.J. Walker, our first female millionaire. Now, I started writing books for kids to battle my journey with breast cancer. And so my first book was Mommy's a Computer Smarter Than Me, and this is my second book. But what's special about this book is I'm giving away 1 million copies as I celebrate 5 years of beating breast cancer. And so I'm so happy to be here, and thank you so much for letting me share this with the world.
We're all clapping for you. That's all right.
That is so awesome. And tell us where we can purchase your book.
Everybody can get my book for free on my website, and that is T as in the, M as in mom, R as in readers, C as in collection, U as in United, S as in states.com. Go to ebook, and it's a digital download that you can get for free no matter where you are in the world.
Now, I want to ask you a question. Why are you giving your book away for free?
I'm celebrating 5 years of beating breast cancer, and I turned 60 this year. So, and I just love children. And my goal is to get children reading and learning about STEM and business principles early. And so this book is a nonfiction book.
Well, let me tell you this. Part of what we do here at RMK Productions, I'm going to hold up the celebration that we're having here, is that we connect people to other people. And I do have some connections with people that I may be able to bring someone to you to help you reach that 1 million book giveaway as a sponsor. Telling your story, I'm going to extend this offer to everyone as individuals. I'm going to talk to my team, share this with you. We have a podcast called One Queen, Two Kings, where we celebrate dynamic women that are doing dynamic things and empowering other women. And your story with breast cancer is definitely a story with 100 Girls with Curls to be honored with that. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but I'm going to tell you that story we'd like to hear more in detail of it along with your book. So we'll chat after this. And Gina, I'll try not to interrupt again, but I won't guarantee you.
I know you will.
But go ahead. See,
I just want to add that Michelle's book is the first book that we received, that DAG received as an ebook. So she was the first ebook nominee that we've ever had. So I want to thank her for that as well.
Well, thank God that I'm not in her category, because I'm sweating bullets as I listen to everyone's story right now. All right.
Our next nominee is Danielle Corbin and Tori Ellis, and they are in the children's category, ages 8 to 12. And the name of the book is I Am a Mini Entrepreneur, Autumn's Love Garden. So listen to the title now, because we just had a book similar to that. So you guys know you're competing, right? Let's hear about this book here, Danielle.
Good evening, everyone. It's so evening. My name is Danielle Corbin. I teach 6th grade science, and I'm also an urban garden teacher. The book is called, as you said, Autumn's Love Garden. I'm a mini entrepreneur, and I am one of the characters, and so is my niece. The book is about urban gardening. I started an urban garden with my students in school. COVID happened, and I ended up teaching from home. Transformed our living room into an urban garden, and my niece wanted to be a part of it. So I put together a kit and sent it to her, and in the midst of all of that, there was a funny story that unfolded. So Tori and I collaborated together, because I never thought about being an author. But as I was telling her the funny story between my niece and I, she said, "That's a book." And fast forward, that's what we did. Tori, take it away.
So the book also is part of our series, I'm a Mini Entrepreneur, and this book is also the very beginning of the spinoff that we have for Miss Belladonna's Lab. We are focusing on STEAM, which is the arts as well, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. According to market research, this book is the first African-American book based off of urban gardening. And we have been able to get these books in schools along with the curriculum that has gone along with it. We wanted to depict people that our kids can definitely see and represent themselves. It can be very diverse for everybody within the schools, even outside of the schools, but then also it's an extra bonus when you can sit here and actually have somebody who you can go and be like, wow, she really did this. And you can hear her story herself, and you can hear the joys that she has in teaching in the classroom, and being able to present that to everybody has been like an awesome experience. So that is truly Autumn's Love Garden.
Where can everyone get your book?
You can find our book on our website, IamAMiniEntrepreneur.com, or you can find it on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, Barnes and Nobles. Yes.
Awesome. Yes, and I love children's books because I write children's books. So it's definitely something I've read. So we're going to go to our next nominee, which is Brandon Griffin. And Brandon's book is called The Outcast Will Outlast. And Brandon's book is also in the category of memoir personal. And I know that this book is a representation of your background and things you've been through. So just tell us a little bit more about it, Brandon.
Hello, everyone. My name is author Brandon Griffin. And first of all, I want to thank God for this opportunity. Miss Gina, at first, when she reached out to me, I thought it was a scam because, you get a lot of people that inbox you, and someone nominated my book to whomever gave Dad my book. I'm very humble and honored. And it does talk about myself, a little boy. And when you think about being an outcast, being different, being set apart, uniqueness. And I was that little boy that struggled with identity. And I started being an outcast when my father was not growing up without a father, having a mother, but mother having issues, just to collaborate with what everyone else has said, mother dealing with alcoholism, my father being a drug addict. So then it was just me. And I grew up in a very dysfunctional family where I, was teased by how I looked and feeling angry, feeling bitter, feeling rejected, identity crisis after being molested at the age of 5. It brought on different other spirits attached to me. And so the enemy had a plot for my life, but God had a plan, overcoming drug addictions, suicidal thoughts, being an escort, all kind of things, just different things that I went through. And I didn't think that God can use a person like me. And so one day I sat down, after overcoming the drug addiction of cocaine for 13 years, I've been clean for 3 years. He told me to write in the midst of my pain. And so I began to write, and I'm like, Lord, I'm different. Nobody's going to buy my book. Who's going to really recognize me? But through that, I found God in the rejection. And I found out that rejection was a part of his plan and that I do have purpose. And so I started to write. I'm an independent writer, and I began to write and begin to write and begin to write. And then my pastor said, you're going to write a book. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to write a book. And you're going to help so many people around the world, so many other broken men, so many other broken women that deals with identity crisis, drug addiction, secrets, watching, mom and dad, like a generational curse or generational things that we don't like to talk about, that we like to sugarcoat and pull under the rug. But the Lord allowed me to inspire to write this book, to let everybody else know it's okay to be different. It's okay to be an outcast. It's okay to be unique. And so while writing this book, I found myself again. I started to be a mentor to other broken young men called BU. And I'm launching a second book, To the Outcast Will Outlast, even though it's only 47 pages and 7 chapters. My book was birthed out of a fire that I was in November 10th, 2019, where I slept for 4 hours. So the enemy said, I'm not going to allow you to live to get this book out. And so after the fire, that's when everything started to come together. And so I have a second book that's getting ready to be released next month on the 15th, called The Outcast Will Outlast Part 2, Pandemic Blessings. You can find a copy on Amazon.com. I have an ebook as well, Good Deeds, and eBay. And so I thank you, Miss Gina. I thank you, Mr. Kevin, for this opportunity. And the outcasts do outlast.
And
we thank you.
And Brandon, I want to thank you for being brave. All right. I want you to remember this when you tell your story. When you stand in front of an audience, there's a child that's in your same space. And remember this, and you can repeat this. God only sends his strongest warriors out in the battle. All right. He's already given you armor to overcome the wounds of your past. Now is your time to go ahead and let people know it's okay to heal, move on, and live and dream. Yes. All right. I'm very proud of you, young brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Very impressive. I was impressed. So guys, if you just pick it up and just feel, you can just feel everything, that all the words on the book, on the page, you can just feel it as you read it. Our next nominee is Dr. Leslie Best. The name of her book is Unwavering, Annie Turnbull Malone, and her category is nonfiction academic. Tell us a little bit about this, Dr. Best.
First of all, I have to say I'm overwhelmed listening to all of these fantastic books. It is really a pleasure to be on this platform, to hear the information that you are presenting about your books. Well, my book is The Unwavering Annie Malone, Annie Turnbull Malone. And that's not a very popular name. But the reason why I decided to write this book is because there was a Netflix series, Self-Made. And I had not seen the movie or the series, but I would hear different comments. And I was really excited because the movie was based on Madam C.J. Walker. And I had learned about her when, as a child, I knew about Madam C.J. Walker. As a teacher, I taught my students about Madam C.J. Walker. As a writer, I have Madam C.J. Walker in one of my books. So I was really astonished when I started hearing information about someone else named Annie. Well, I had read a bio about Madam C.J. Walker. And in the book that I had read several years ago, Annie Malone was mentioned. And so I thought, oh, well, she was her mentor. And I didn't think anything else about Annie Malone. Because as you know, Madam C.J. Walker was one of her agents. So then I'm hearing, my friends were calling me and they were telling me, about how horrible this person was. And I said, well, this does not sound correct to me. And I even remember they had at the DuSable Museum with Annie Malone's picture. But I never really paid much attention because my focus was on Madam C.J. Walker. And so with all these various negative comments that were so demeaning, and I said, well, let me investigate more about Annie Malone. So as I started going into various archives, including the Library of Congress, reading loads of information, articles, magazines, newspapers from back during her era, I found out that this was an amazing woman. And I could not understand how we overlooked her contributions. So I wouldn't watch the movie, I wouldn't watch the series until after I completed my book. So after I completed the book, I had to write it because she has such a rich history. She had contributed enormously. It was her that came up with the hair product, the hair growing product, which she helped Madam C.J. Walker, and it said that in the book, in the series. And she had hired her to be one of her agents because that was her marketing, was to hire people, women especially, because during that era, most women, the only opportunities that they had was basically domestic work. So Annie Malone wanted to offer people more options, even an opportunity for entrepreneurship. So when I started reading, and it's so much history, not just history about her, but also during that era. So, but as she continued, as she grew in St. Louis, she became a millionaire. And a lot of what Madam C.J. Walker did, she copied from Annie Malone. And this is a fact. So Madam C.J. Walker, she died 1919. Annie Malone died in 1957. Well, her enterprise grew in St. Louis, and she would always open her doors to the community. And she stayed with this process of hiring agents and giving them an opportunity to go into their own business. She never sold her products directly to drugstores or, businesses. It was always through her agents, all the way until she died. She had the beauty school where she would train, but it's just a lot of history about situations that occurred during that era in St. Louis. And then her husband had ended up taking her money, taking half of her business, and she ended up coming to Chicago as a permanent resident. But she had facilities all over the United States, the same as Madam C.J. Walker. There are articles, and I have documentations in my book. And so she did that as well. Her connection was basically the churches. She was a very religious, spiritual person. She wasn't involved as political. It was just about doing God's work.
We have a few more minutes, Dr. Best.
Pardon me?
We have a few more minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, but even so, she endured racism, sexism, jealousy, people stealing her ideas. And I called it unwavering because she never gave up on her purpose that she felt was for her, and that is to extend herself. And when she went to Chicago, she owned a whole block in Bronzeville. She had like 5 buildings.
All right.
It was an aviation.
All right. Can we see your book, and can you tell us where your book can, where we can find your book?
Fantastic about the aviation school because Colonel Robinson, he was the commander for Haile Selassie when he was battalions.
Where can we get the book, Dr. Best?
Okay, I'm sorry. It's going to be found in Amazon. It's in Amazon and my site, which is Bexley Books. This is my 7th book. But I wanted the people to know about Annie Malone, the true Annie Malone.
And that was Amazon, and where else?
Bexley.com.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
A little bit of history here. We got a few historians in this podcast here.
Yep. And for those of you guys that don't know, Madam C.J. Walker, if you've seen any of the Black exploitation movies with Bumpy Johnson, Superfly, whatever, she was always that female role that was in there. She ran, the numbers. She invented, the reason why we can straighten our hair and so forth. She was the first. That's wrong?
That's not true. That's not true.
All right. Well, I'll stand to be corrected. We're not going to debate it on here.
People need to read this book.
All right, Leslie. Leslie.
You know,
Leslie.
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 You can go to the
Leslie.
Museum.
Leslie.
You can go to the DeSable Museum.
All right. Let's go ahead, Gina. Move on.
Right. So we can't end this without acknowledging our host, who is also an author, and that is Kevin McLemore. And Kevin has 2 books that he has submitted. The first one is Sprinkles, The True Spirit of Christmas. This book is listed under the category of fiction. And then the second book is The Indispensable Game of X's and O's, which is also in the category of memoir personal. So we want you to talk a little bit about those 2 books, Kevin, before we leave.
All right. I'm going to try to make a very long story a very short story. Sprinkles, The True Spirit of Christmas, is basically my version of teaching people how to be kind to others. Originally, my first book was published by St. Martin's Press. It was Letters to Elvis. And when I presented this book to St. Martin's Press, they basically told me that my book was a little different and the world wasn't ready for it. Well, I've been told all my life the world wasn't ready for me, so the world wasn't ready for this story. It happens to be one of the few books out there that represents us in saying that we have Christmas. And I use Christmas as a vehicle to educate people on how to be kind, to overcome your biases, and to get along. And Christmas just happens to be the vehicle for me to get you to turn first page to the second page and to the very last page. I'm also the illustrator of the book. So Sprinkles, The True Spirit of Christmas. This coming Thanksgiving for 24 hours, I'm releasing the audio version of the book totally free. The only thing I'm asking people to do is subscribe or make a donation of $5 in order to listen to it. So when everyone else is out shopping for Black Friday, you can sit down with your family and listen to a story that represents you. And dreams do come true. So you have to believe. My second book is, and this is actually number 4, Indispensable Games of X's and O's. Hopefully you can see that. We photoshopped some good looking guy on there, and I claim to be him. And Indispensable Games is all about choices. You know, from the third grade, I woke up one morning, walked down the street. It was a block away from McNary Elementary School, and I went to school just like any other third grader. I think I was 8 or 9 years old. A little bit after 3, came home, put the key in the lock, opened the door, and my life changed. My mother had systematically somehow relocated to Beverly Hills 90210. And my father, so for some reason, created a situation because he had a relationship with a bottle that allowed us to lose our home at 559 Cedarhurst. And I got relocated to my grandparents' home, my father's home. And from there, the choices of life were out of my control. When you talk about your whys, I had a different why at that time. Even though I was raised in a Baptist environment, I had my faith. But after I left the doors, my life changed. And it had not been for me being chased home, being shot at, and me asking for God to give me a second chance, I found out 2 things. One, I had a very strong belief in God and asked for him to get me home without any bullet holes. And the other, I found out that I had world-class speed. Entering high school, you know, I stuck my hand up because I was trying to impress a young girl, and that's how I ended up on the football team. And the first chapter is about being true to yourself, because being true to myself started out with a lie, you know, and like the Twilight Zone, you know, there's a shade between the truth and the lie. And I kind of wavered between the gray areas at that time. And so my why at each level of my life has been redefined. The book has less to do about football, but about the fundamentals of the game and how it's played. Talks about your character, talks about showing up on time. It talks about how to get along with people, overcoming adversities, how to be present, and how to live out your dreams. So that's a long story short. And I just want to say it is an honor to be in the presence of greatness. It is my pleasure to be able to allow this platform for you guys to shine. And I will say to all of you, okay, I want to thank Gina for creating a platform that we can have a voice. All right. Because without reading, and I've heard a child say this once, that she hated to read. And my response to her is that there is no such thing as a child hating to read that just hadn't found the book that they fell in love reading. Education is not about being comfortable. And each of you as an author at some genre or whatever however your story is being told is an educator. And education is designed to make you think. Each of you have a story that needs to be told. I would recommend that whomever in your category wins, we celebrate the fact that they were recognized on this platform, and come back next year and we'll build the Distinguished Authors Guild to be a world-class, world-renowned Writers Guild and be recognized. You know, as people of color, we need to have a stage in all genres, all content, from our Oscars to our Emmys to our Grammys and so forth. We should have our own stage where we recognize greatness amongst our own people. We do not have to celebrate the stage amongst people that will not recognize us. And we need to be recognized for our talent. So I want to thank each and every last one of you for being present. First time a podcast has ever pulled off the finalist for an award show. Gina, if you would tell us what we need to do going forward, how do we get people to participate, the date, when that's going to be announced and how it's going to be announced. And the one thing I always ask, Gina, and I've asked you this before, what is your big ask? What do you want this to turn out to be?
Well, you know, the biggest thing of all is for everyone, whether you're chosen as a nominee or you're chosen as an award-winning winner, just promote and share and like Distinguished Authors Guild, like the page, follow the page, ask your friends, send it to your friends and family. We just want to build our community so that we have more authors like yourself. And I just want you to know that all of you guys have wonderful books. That's why you were nominated. even if you're not chosen as the award winner, just know you guys all are winners. Your books are, it was the readers just, the feedback that they came back with, it was just phenomenal for all the books. But out of all the books, only one can be chosen. It was a difficult decision, but we had to choose one out of all the nominees. But I can say that I own a copy of majority of your books. The ones that I don't have, I will be purchasing soon. I like to keep those books in my library. Sometimes I send them to other people who they can help. It might be an inspiration. So I do share, I do purchase and send books to others so that they can enjoy them as well. And I just want to say that, you know, even last year with some of the award-winning authors, this platform has taken them to different stages with their books. We've had authors who were picked up by the school system. We've had authors who were picked up by fraternities for mentorship. We've had authors who this helped to grow not just their books, but other businesses that they're doing as well. So we do everything that we can to get all of you guys into a platform and to continue to recognize you even after November 11th. Okay, so anyone who's interested in purchasing a ticket to Distinguished Authors Guild, you can go to Eventbrite, go under Distinguished Authors Guild Literary Award Show. You can purchase your ticket there. We have the $45 tickets, which is the award show. And then we have the $75 tickets, which is the award show and the gala. The gala is going to be awesome, guys. It will be hosted by comedian Miss Arkansas from Las Vegas, Nevada. And we will have our guest artist all the way from Barbados performing during the virtual concert. So we have something great in store for you all. And it's going to be a phenomenal night. So invite your family, invite your friends. You want them to share in this event. You want them to share this night because it is going to be awesome. It is going to be all about you. You're going to see just how great it is. And we want you to share this with your loved ones so that they see. They already know how great you are, but they get to see it on the big screen. So just share it with everyone. Anyone who would like to purchase a ticket, please go to Eventbrite under Distinguished Authors Guild Literary Award Show. And remember, a portion of the proceeds goes toward the scholarships. And I want to thank Kevin because this was something that I know you had to make time to do this because you're very, very busy. So I do want to thank you. We truly appreciate you having us on. And whatever platform you guys are invited to, just take advantage of it because no platform is too small. No platform is too big.
All right.
Thank you, Kevin.
I couldn't have said it better. And to my listeners and our loyal fans, I want to thank you. And I hope you enjoyed this episode of People You Should Know in Talking with Kevin and Son. And again, you know, she gave a lot of call to action, and I'm going to make it real simple. If you like what you heard, if you'd like to be a guest, go to our website, www.rmkproductions.net, or visit us and subscribe on YouTube at RMK Productions and Network. You know, this was powerful. And I will say this, you know, when you look at the video and you see all the people from all different ages and all telling all different stories, you have to realize that when you turn page 1 and you turn page 2 to the very last page, the ink is still the same. The pages are still the same. It's the story that allows you to heal. It is the story to allow you to travel. It's the story that allows you to think. And it's the story to allow you to be different and for your message to live on long after we're gone. So I ask each and every last one of you to adopt my hashtag. Find 1,000 reasons to be kind to someone. My grandfather said, when you get to a point that you can help someone else, it is your duty. Reach one, teach one. And this is the end of Talking with Kevin and Son in a special episode of, I love how to say to this, DAG, the Distinguished Author Guild. And I hope you guys tune in and follow us. Fade to black. And now we're out. Everyone hold up your books. Hold up your books. Hold up your books. All right.